Hi everyone, it is time for a new video, and this one is going to be in the car. I am on a trip back home. It is a very short trip, but I'm in the car today, and I thought it'd be super fun to talk to you about some books. So I normally only do updates for my vlogs in the car, but there's a few people who do like wrap-ups in the car. I know that Chandler from Unsealy does wrap-ups a lot in her car, and there's just something about it that I really love, and I wanted to do my own version. And today I'm going to be talking about the books that I have on my Kindle Unlimited. So if you didn't know, there's this like subscription service that is called Kindle Unlimited that is, you pay a monthly amount. I think it's like $9 per month or something, and you can download, basically, like, you can download 20 books at a time, but an unlimited amount during the month. And so there's a lot of like amazing indie authors on Kindle Unlimited, and you don't have to pay extra for any of it. And sometimes there's even like an audiobook and ebook at the same time. It is really amazing, and I love it. I've had it for a while now, and they do a lot of like free trials that are for more than even 1 month sometimes. So I definitely recommend you try it out if you like indie romances especially. And so yeah, I thought it'd be fun to share with you what books I have on there. I do want to try to make this pretty quick because I am in a public parking lot. There's a lot of people around and I am slightly uncomfortable. So let's just get straight into the books. Some of them I've actually read, some of them I know something about, some of them I know pretty much nothing about. The first one I have here is The Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by Elizabeth O'Rourke. This is a book that I just read and I fucking loved. It is an adult contemporary romance. It's very angsty, filled with a lot of tension. There's a car parking literally in front of me. It is just so angsty. It's a forbidden romance. It's basically like the ex-boyfriend's brother trope. It has super strong summer vibes, and it is just a delightful romance that feels pretty slow burn, not like super hardcore, but pretty slow burn to me. I have very I prefer faster books, so to hardcore slow burn readers it might not feel as slow burn, but I feel like the built up tension is so good in there, and the development of the romance is so delightful and delicious, and I absolutely recommend it, and I loved it so much. And another book that I have there is, oh yeah, this is the second book in the series. So the other book that I have that I haven't read yet is the first book, and that is A Deal with the Devil. And the thing is, I did not do this on purpose for once. I do sometimes read romance books out of order, because if you didn't know, romance series are almost always standalone series, which means that you can read them out of order, or you don't have to read all of them or something like that. But when I know I want to read the whole series, I try to read them in order. But this time, I thought that this was the only book from the series that I had saved, so I expected it to be the first one, but turns out I had the first one saved already. It just was further down on my phone. I just didn't notice it. So I will definitely be reading the first book very soon. It's supposed to be, I know the heroine in it is an author who has writer's block, which I love reading about, especially because it's just so relatable to me, and I just always love seeing writers in books. And also it's supposed to be like an office romance, so I'm just so fucking here for it. Then I have two books that are also kind of in the same series, sort of, but they're poetry collections. So the first one is Bloom for Yourself 2 by April Green, and the second one is Becoming a Wildflower by April Green. The first poetry collection is actually not on Kindle Unlimited, and so that's why I read the second one in this case, and I started the third one. Absolutely loving them. It's a lot about just kind of basic topics like healing and self-love and grief and life and living and all of that, but it's really resonating with me. The writing is quite simple, but there's a lot of metaphors, which I really love in poetry, and I just there are so many lines that just really hit me hard, and so I loved the second one that I finished, and I'm so excited to read the Becoming a Wildflower. I started it a little bit and I'm already enjoying it, so we love to see it. Then I have Priceless by Miranda Silver. This is a book that I've been super excited for, but also intimidated by for quite a while at this point. And also, just a side note, most of these books should still be on Kindle Unlimited, but there is a chance they might not be, because sometimes if you save it and don't return it, if it stops being on Kindle Unlimited but you still have it saved, it's gonna stay on yours until you return it. But if you return it and they don't have it on Kindle Unlimited anymore, you can't save it on Kindle Unlimited anymore. either, if that makes sense. So some of these might not be, but most of these I think are going to be. And so Priceless I added quite a while ago, and it's supposed to be kind of like a dark romance that's supposed to be, I think, super angsty and super steamy. That is pretty much all that I know. A few of my friends recommended it to me a while ago, and they were like, oh my gosh, you need to read it, it's gonna be so good. But I mentioned this before. I tweeted it like 2 weeks ago, or last week maybe, and I was like, I either read my friends' recommendations immediately or it takes me 2 years. So this is the 2 years option. But I actually recently, like yesterday or 2 days ago, I was like, you know what, I actually think I want to read it super soon. So I do think it's gonna be happening pretty soon. So the next book that I have here is so fucking confusing to me, because it's Boss in the Bed Sheets by Kate Canterbury. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I have apparently read 40% of this book. I remember nothing about it. And I do know that I actually listened to it on audio alongside of it or something. And I think I was just too distracted while I was doing that. And I think that I just like did not absorb any of it, and so I don't remember any of it. And so I think at some point I'll just read it from the start and probably read the ebook instead of the audiobook, because like I think like clearly from the title it seems like it's gonna be an office romance, and I fucking love office romances like with the boss. So like I am a sucker for that. And so I don't know anything else because I again don't remember a single thing, but I think I was really enjoying it. I just think it was the wrong time. Then I have The Dragon's Bride by Katie Roberts. So this is one of her quite recent books that is a monster romance. And I've said it before that I'm not actually the biggest fan of monster romances on their own, but I just kind of read it as paranormal romance. It just feels super fun in that way, and it's always just like, I don't know, I've really enjoyed quite a few of them because like I do love paranormal romance, and sometimes some of the monster elements are a little bit too far for me personally, but I can still enjoy it. And I feel like this one is going to be a really quick, fun read, and I've seen some people say that it's actually quite surprisingly sweet along with being just really steamy, and I just love sweet romances, and I feel like it's just going to be a super fun time and a really quick read, so I'm very excited. And something quite close to it, I think that is a more like a fantasy romance, is The Unsealy Prince by Catherine Ann Kingston. I don't know anything about this. I just saw someone mention it on Twitter that it was good, it was sexy, and I love the cover. And so I was just like, you know what, I want to give it a try. I don't know the author, I don't know anything else, but I love the cover, and hopefully it's gonna be really fun. Then I have another 2 books from a series, and that is Read Between the Lines and No Rings Attached by Rachel Lacey. So these are 2 sapphic contemporary romances that are adult, and I knew some things about them, but they kind of blended together and I don't fully remember the details. But either way, I am so excited for them. I just think they're gonna be super fun, lighthearted, beautiful romances, and I always need more sapphic adult romances in my life, and I just feel like these are gonna be wonderful. And these 2 both actually have the ebook and audiobook available, which means you can do both at the same time. You can only read the ebook or you can just listen to it, and I love that. That is not on all books on Kindle Unlimited, and it's not that many, but there's quite a few. So these 2 are on that, and I am super excited. There's someone leaving, so that's why the lighting was weird. So that is that. Then I have Rake I'd Like to F by a bunch of authors, which is an anthology about like short historical romance novellas. The way that it works is basically that the authors, this is like the second one that they did, and the first one, they published it, they released it on Kindle Unlimited and just like normally as well. And then after a while, the rights go back to the authors, and the authors self-published it like separately as separate novellas, and quite a few of them were then on Kindle Unlimited. But with this one, I wanted it saved just so I could have the whole thing, and I will probably not be reading it all at once because I did prefer just reading them kind of separately, but I did really enjoy those ones from the Duke I'd Like to F, and so I'm very excited for this one. I really love the authors in it, and I feel like it is a great thing that you can check out and download on there if you want to get a taste of the writers' like writing style and the vibe of their stories, and you know, see that maybe if you would like to read more of their own full-length novels or something, so definitely would recommend you check it out. Like, I haven't read it yet, but I did read most of the stories in the first one. Then I have We've Only Just Begun by Nicole Falls, and once again, I don't know anything about this. I think it's a novella. I love novellas. There's so many on Kindle Unlimited. And Nicole Falls is an indie author who has most of her books on Kindle Unlimited. She writes Black love romances, and they're always just super fun, super quick read, super easy to read. I keep using the same words, but that's just because, like, the patterns repeat themselves, okay? Like, I just read a lot of the same shit, so yes. So then I have Lord of the Eternal Night by Ben Alderson, and this one, I also love the cover, and it's supposed to be like a queer vampire fantasy romance. I need more standalone fantasy romances in my life, and I need more vampire romances in my life, and queer vampire romances in my life, and it just sounds so fucking good. Like, I'm really fucking excited for it, and I definitely need to read it ASAP. And then I have another sapphic fantasy romance, well, fantasy book with a romantic subplot from what I've heard, and that is Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. So this is one of the books that, if there's one thing that's, I think, might not be on Kindle Unlimited anymore, it is this one, because I know that a publisher picked up this book, which means that it might not be available on there, unfortunately, but I have heard amazing things about it, so you might still want to add it to your TBR, because everything that people say about this book is that it's super cozy and fun and lighthearted. And I do know that it's not like a super focused on the romance, but there is a sapphic romance subplot, and it's just supposed to be just super cozy fantasy vibes. And I feel like a lot of us need more of that, and definitely gonna be like a comfort read, nothing brutal. There's just one of the main characters wants to start a coffee shop and make lattes, and so it's just super cozy in that way as well, and I just cannot wait to read it. Then I have Business Casual by Danielle Allen, who is another very popular Kindle Unlimited author that I love, who also writes Black love romances, and I have loved each book that I've picked up by her. And this one is an office romance, and I also heard a lot of great things about this one. It's supposed to be angsty and steamy and super fun, and I, again, fucking adore office romances, and like, I don't need to know anything more about the book, to be honest. So very excited. Then I have From the Top by Jaclyn Snow, and a lot of my friends have recommended me this series, and I just know I'm gonna love it. It is new adult sports romances. I need more of that in my life. This used to be like new adult sports romances, I think, were super popular a few years ago on BookTube, and not so much nowadays, but I never actually read that much of it. And so I still want it, and especially, like, I am kind of a new adult right now, so that is technically the category for me. And so I'm just super excited for this book and the whole series. The hero in this wears glasses, and there's more that I knew about this book, but once again, I kind of forgot, but I cannot wait to read it. Like, I'm dying to read it, and yes, I have the first book downloaded normally, so I think I'll read that first before reading this one, but I'm very excited. Then I have Digging Up Love by Chandra Blumberg, and this is supposed to be another kind of like very cozy book that is a romance. That is honestly all that I know about it. And I don't know, I just feel like it's gonna be a quick, fun, sweet read. And I think I also got the audiobook of this one, and so I'm very excited to dive into this. Then I have Throttled by Lauren Asher, and this one I think is another sports romance. I don't know if it's new adult or adult, but I've also heard quite a few people recommend this and the whole series, and so I definitely want to read it. I'm sorry I don't have any details on these books, I feel like, but hopefully it can give you at least some kind of an idea, you know, and I just don't really go into books knowing a lot about them. If you know me and you've been watching my videos for a while, you probably know that, but hopefully you can still get some options, you know? So I have 2 more books to share. So the next one is If I Were a Weapon by Skye Killian. I absolutely love Skye, and this book sounds really intriguing and quite unique, and the main thing that I remember is that it's sci-fi and it's sapphic, and I generally feel like there's not a lot of sci-fi romances, and I definitely want to read more of them. And I think it's also a novella, and if I remember it correctly, there's like multiple books, and they might not be standalones. It might be that you need to read multiple books for the whole story. And I'm just so excited for this, and definitely will be reading this very soon as well. And the last book I have here is Can't Text This by Tegan Hunter. And so this book is basically like, I read another one in this series. I don't know which number it was. But it was a while ago at this point. But this whole series, basically the point of it, or like the common theme in the books, is that there are texts, a lot of texting in them. And I've mentioned this before, I fucking love texting in books. Texting, letters, any sort of media like that, I just love it so much. I feel like it's just super exciting and fun to me. And so the one that I read before was just super fun, really enjoyable, quick to read, had a lot of texts. I just had a lot of fun with it, and I feel like I'm hoping and think that this book will be very similar to that. And so that is what the books are on my Kindle Unlimited. I feel like I actually managed to get through this quite fast, but I hope that you enjoyed it anyways and that you got some options, recommendations, and yeah, so I will definitely be reading a lot of these very soon. Let me know what is on the top of your Kindle Unlimited TBR. If you enjoyed this video, leave like a phone emoji down below, and thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'm gonna see you soon in another video. Bye!